Did you know you have a cognitive function blind spot? When I was learning to drive, I was told that cars had blind spots, and unless you wanted to crash into a bomb walking on the side of the road, you needed to check first. Well, turns out our own lives are filled with blind spots. We basically have Swiss cheese vision. All of us have a tendency to overlook things or judge something as unimportant, even though it's not, like feelings for some of us. In MBTI typology, we have the idea of a blind spot function, or polar function, or trickster function. Because type nerds need to make everything more complicated, there's a bajillion words for it. To find out what your blind spot function is, all you need to do is go to your third function and switch the way it's verted. So if your third function is SI, you'll be SE blind. It's important to be able to look for the things that you might normally overlook. That is, unless you like getting into car accidents. But today I'm going to cover all 8 blind spot functions. So boop that like button and let's get started. FI is the blind spot function for ESTPs and ENTPs. And they can overlook their own feelings and values. If something makes them feel uncomfortable or they think it's wrong, they might just disregard it. All that stuff is just in your head. It's not the real world that really matters. But newsflash dummies, it does matter. Suppressing feelings doesn't make them go away. They'll just come back for revenge later. FE is the blind spot function for INTJs and ISTJs. You know, probably the most jerkish types. They're likely to completely disregard other people's feelings. Who cares if I make an iPhone using cheap forced child labor? People will still buy it. And I mean, I guess they're kind of right, but I think karma's still going to get them in the end. NE is the blind spot function for ISTPs and ISFPs. These types can struggle with following ideas to their conclusions. At some point, they just kind of think, that'll do and move on. They just don't like to explore ideas all the way through. And that can lead to problems. If you'd like to watch my next 2 videos right now, check out my Patreon. Your support makes this content possible. So thank you, and special thanks to my Barons, names listed down below. ESFJs and ESTJs blind spot function is NI, and they can struggle to see the whole picture, what's important and what's not. Zooming out is something they've never heard of. INFPs and INTPs are SE blind. You know how these types are said to live in their heads and keep their heads in the clouds and never really do anything? It's because they lack a grounding function like SE. SI is the blind spot function for ENTJs and ENFJs. These types can become completely entrenched in their corporate or cult leader lives. And because of this, they forget to take care of themselves. 8 glasses of water a day, they do not drink. ENFPs and ESFPs are TI blind, so they don't really have deep thoughts that much. It's really simple for them. They like something, they do it. Which, I mean, I'm kind of jelly of, not gonna lie. But obviously, building an internal logical framework is important, I think. ISFJs and INFJs blind spot function is TE. This means they can be more dismissive of practical logic. Both types might spend hours coming up with all kinds of contingency plans for things that are most likely not going to happen, like buying a snowblower when you live in Florida. You might want to learn more about the 8 cognitive functions in a bit more depth. So I recommend watching my video where I do just that. Watch it here.